Evening, y'all. Late night video. So this is a helmet that light is dead. That one is red. This is an MVG mount. Alright, down the vest, YouTube. Slide is blocked to the rear, nothing in the mag. 2 mags for my pistol, mags on the side for my long gun. Right? So I'm going to back up. Hopefully this works okay. Fighting knife down low. Come out when necessary. This setup is not finished because there's still zip ties. Long gun, bolt lock to the rear, nothing in there, nothing in the mag. Set up the way I wanted to set up. Red lens, white lens, laser, optic, sling. This is the way I carried mine in Iraq often. Elbow pads, these work okay. The knee pads, I'm ready to show you why they suck. I haven't found anything that fixes it. So look, right there, knee pad has fallen down. This one is in place. So when you're walking with pants on, the knee pads tend to fall down all the fucking time. So if you ever watched any of the news shows from early in Iraq or even Afghanistan, a lot of times the knee pads would be down around the ankles. So just keep that in mind. Alright, this is just a quick video. This is helmet I did not have this style in Iraq. I had the old they called, wasn't the Kevlar, it was the new Mitch helmet, but it didn't have the cutout over the years. So these would have been a little bit cooler. This helmet is available from Tactical Pal. It's supposed to be a level 4. I have been told it is probably not. So it will protect you, but maybe more than likely not from a high-powered rifle. So even if it did, the impact would snap your head so hard it would break your neck. So this system has level 4 plates on the side and in the front and the back. And even though for the last 10 months I've been actively trying to exercise, I carried this plate carrier for 1.5 miles, and then my back fucking killed me, like way worse, for like a week and a half. So more than likely I've invested a lot of money in this shit and I won't be able to use it. So this is something you're going to wear only if you know there is impending fighting. And then you need to understand that it will not necessarily save your life. So yeah, there's a lot more to what I've shown you than this, as in the way it's set up, why it's set up, type thing. So you need to understand, you need to talk to somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. Alright, so I have another gun that's not on me. I just took off because it's loaded, and then I've been told by more than one person, in case you have to lose your vest, your armor, for whatever reason, it's on fire or something, you need to have a sidearm on your belt. So in addition to the one that's right here. So you need to set your vest up as though you may be fighting in it, because you need to consider how you're going to pull a mag, right? To slap in a gun. Alright, there's one other thing I want to show you. I talked about it on the video a long time ago. Give me a second. These are the gloves I talked about. Mechanics gloves. Fingers are cut out, thumbs are cut out so you can feel stuff, right? Reinforced knuckles. Blah, 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 blah. My dogs are very excited right now. Give me a second. I don't wear this stuff very often. And to be honest, my back is fucking killing me now. Alright, give me a second. So, like in Iraq, the shit always comes off easier and then it goes on. So, I had to gather some of that up because it's dispersed. But it took me about 20 minutes to get into it. Based on having worn it before, I know pretty much how it needs to fit. So, let me show you something else. If you look at the vest, it's very front-loaded centric, right? So that's why you need your water on the back, and that's going to add weight. So you might be like, well, if it's too heavy, Chief Prepper, I can't carry it. So it's a personal call on what you choose to shed. I was hoping that that system would get a lot lighter. Like, yeah, I'm sweating, and I'm in AC, so imagine what it's going to be like. All right, so I would probably be wearing 501 tactical pants. I actually need to invest in some more black ones, but I've got one pair and I've got some other ones that are darker, so I can move around in the dark if I need to. And that's when most of the bad guys are going to be out, so that's where your security, if you have any, is going to be most active. All right. So this is a show and tell that I promised months ago, and I'm going to do more. All right. So that helmet gets heavy wearing it, especially if you haven't worn one on a regular basis. I mean, when we were training to go to Iraq, holy crap, man, my neck was fucking killing me the whole time. And then when I came back from Iraq, it wasn't a problem because I was used to wearing it on and off all the time for a year. So your gear is going to change your ability to move and how fast. So you don't want to carry any more gear than you have to, because if push comes to shove and the choice is run and get away or fight, run and survive another day or fight, you're going to want to run. All right, it's just the way it is. Second thing, you might be asking, so why are you showing this finally, Chief Prepper? Well, imagine what's happening in Lebanon happening here. What are you going to do? All right, so one other thing about wearing all that shit is you ain't going to fit in a car, especially to drive, and the seatbelt probably won't go around you. We had that problem in Iraq. They had give out seatbelt extenders, or they just told us not to wear the seatbelt. So, a helmet is important for shrapnel and for bullets, but like I said, if you're shot with an AK, 30 caliber or a higher bullet, a 50 cal will go right through the helmet no matter what. Depending on what level of 30 cal or a bigger bullet hits your helmet, it's going to break your neck. That's just the way that is. All right, so sorry. If it hits your plate, assuming you have level 4 plates, it will stop it. Now, I have plates over there that are 10 by 12s. The ones that are in the vest are 11 by 14s. 11 by 14s is the size that I need. But the plates I replaced were level 3A steel plates, and they're spall coated, so they're supposed to help reduce shrapnel coming up from bullet impacts. And the steel is proven to be multi-impact. It's supposed to be the best. Like, you can take multi hits on the plate, and it'll break your chest and your ribs, but it's not supposed to go through. The ceramic is supposed to be lighter, and I can tell you, different coverage. Sorry, I was checking to see if Jen was chewing on something. Different coverage, but same weight, so I didn't gain anything on the weight wise. So that's the first time I've had my plate carrier on. Basically, it had everything on it except for the water. And the water will probably add maybe 5 pounds. And I can tell you right now, I can't carry that shit. Like, my back was hurting just standing there with it for a little while. And then if you look here, this is what I'm talking about. This one's up, this one's down. And they'll do that when you're just walking. So, I think we're headed to some crazy fucking shit. I think they've imported people on purpose, and I think when they decide there's going to be bad things. So, and then you have to decide: you're going to be a sheep, you're going to be a wolf, or you're going to be a sheepdog. Are you going to protect other people besides you and your family? Because I can tell you, based on what I've seen, what I know, if you're standing by yourself, you're easy pickings. There's a reason over time humans have grouped up with each other. It's not an accident, right? So imagine, there's so much bad shit happening in the world right now. There are places in the world right now where there's no water, there's no electricity, and food is probably going to become a problem. Heat is going to be a problem. So if we start having chaos and Tiawaki, the end of the world as we know it here in the States, you're going to have neighbors you're going to have to make decisions about. Because if you start feeding them, then whatever food you've put aside, you're taking food out of your family's mouths, right? I'm not advocating anything here. I'm just saying that you're going to have decisions you're going to have to make. Now, I do think we need to have some humanity, because in the end, we're going to have to live with whatever we do. And we're going to have to hopefully survive. But, imagine, like, teenagers now and young adults, they don't know what the fuck to do without their phone. I did a video about putting your phone down for a day, half a day, lock it up, ignore it, don't answer it. See how you feel. There was a time when the internet didn't exist. There was a time when cell phones were not proliferated, right? Watching Travis Prepared Hornstead, and he talked about something that you should know is common sense. Anything that is internet connected and has a battery system, lithium specifically, but battery system, If it's a software thing that they're doing, that's a real problem. Alright? You know, there are cars, solar generators, what else? Bicycles, motorcycles, electric, anything electric that has a lithium battery. So the lithium battery systems have been around since the early 90s for sure. Back then I was testing GPSs, specifically the brand was Rockwell Collins, which was the one that the Army wound up going with in Arizona at the Electronic Proving Grounds where the Army does testing of stuff, right? And even back then they told us if it starts getting really hot, throw the motherfucker on the ground and leave it. One of the things that happens with lithium batteries when they overheat or they overcycle, I think is what they call it, they swell. So even if you can get the battery cap off, you can't get the battery out because it swells and gets stuck inside the device. So, and that's a precursor to it exploding. So if you don't know this, lithium batteries and water, bad juju. Do not mix. That's the reason you can't throw them in the fucking garbage, because if they go into a landfill, one of the ways they deal with landfills and refuse is they water to help it start decomposing. So I'll do another video showing you my cowboy, well, you've seen my cowboy hats, but cowboy hats, and I have a leather duster. The duster, it would be a great thing to take or pack for inclement weather, because you can roll up in it and sleep without a sleeping bag. You know, I think that people's ability to bushcraft, and you know, if we're bugging out, you know, if you're walking, your ability to make a camp with tarps might be a thing you need to learn if you don't know how already. I don't know if I showed y'all. I think I did a video on it. I purchased what we in Army call old school stuff. We carried it for like the first 5 years in the Army I was in, and then they started switching. But basically, it's a two-man system, 2 shelter halves, 2 sets of poles, 2 sets of stakes, 2 sets of ropes, and you have an entrenching tool that you have to dig a moat around your tent, but you also have to bury your tent sides with dirt to help keep stuff out or keep heat in, you know. And then there's enough room in that little tent for 2 full-grown men, their gear, and a sleeping bag and a sleep system. Okay, so, and it's olive drab, so in the night it's hard to see. All right, I actually still need to move that from where I dropped it at to a different location, but they have new systems out where they're one-man sleep systems, where it's like big enough for you to roll around in on the inside, but small enough that it's like a mini tent. I have 2 extreme cold weather sleeping systems, one for my wife, one for me, that are military surplus. Bought it from Midway USA. Had it for years. Pretty much stayed packed. I packed the bags 5 years ago, I think. And they're out in a storage area. Alright, so if you're looking at the news, watching what's happening, I told you months ago now, governments around the world are preparing for war. So should you. That includes everything: food, water, shelter, security. So in the not too distant future, I'm going to do a video on how you can help harden your doors. It'll be fairly easy what I'm going to show you. And then I'm also going to talk to you briefly right now. If you have people who know what they're doing, or professionals, Jen, who are trying to get in your house, if you have your 3-inch screws in your door jamb and stuff. What they do is they use a 12 gauge with steel shot, I think, and they blow the 3 hinges. They shoot where the 3 hinges are, and they shoot where your deadbolt is, and then the door goes flying. And you can push it with your finger and it'll fall in. Right? So there are things you can do to harden that. There's been a lot of talk about that in the prepping world, and I'm going to do a short video. I talked about it before. You need to get a hammer drill, a drill bit that was a masonry designed to go into concrete, and then some kind of round stock. Even a wood dowel will make your door much harder to breach, but a piece of steel, threaded round stock or the non-threaded round stock, will make your door almost impossible to get in. Now, if they knock it off the hinges and blow the whole door in, then there's nothing you can do. The only thing that slows that down is if you got the 4-inch screws into the door jamb. If you don't know your door, your exterior doors are wood core with metal coverings. They're 10 or 15 times heavier than your inner doors of your house. Your inner doors of your house are not designed to keep anybody out. They're just there for decoration. But exterior doors are fire breaks, so they're heavy. In addition to being heavy, they have a full wood core. So I'm going to show you how to pretty much keep your doors closed. Right? So I don't know when I'll get that video done, but it'll be sometime the next month or so. It's not that hard. It's something I want to do anyway. My wife does not support some of the things, and she'll be like looking at me like I'm crazy. But we're out in the country, so being in the country, it makes things different. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and you know, it's not going to be quick. If you think about all the time that men have been on Earth, I want to say starting with the Romans, where the armor was actually really started. Maybe also in Japan, in Asia, because I know the samurai knives had it, right? But there's a reason armor exists. It works. So you might want to consider some kind of foreguard, shoulder guard, alright? Modern armor. First time I went to Iraq, we had plate carriers with ceramic plates, not supposed to drop them vertically or sideways on the edge because they're going to crack and then it won't be effective. They changed that. They put a steel plate in between the two ceramics, so that was no longer an issue. But the plate carriers we had when we went to Iraq the first time were like the one I have now. They're a motherfucker to get out of. So I've told you before, if you fall into water, if you're not practiced with getting that shit off of you, you're going to drown. Right? Maybe if all you do is fall in water and your nose is under the water in your mouth, you can't roll over, you can't sit up. Because I encourage you, if you have body armor on, put it on and sit down and lay back, see if you can sit up with it on. I doubt it. Alright. So Japanese, Asian, samurai stuff had armor. Romans had armor. Christian knights had armor. What else? Vietnam didn't have armor. They had flak vests, but it wasn't armor. It was a Kevlar vest designed to protect you from grenades. It would not protect you from a bullet. Because I wore one during Desert Shield Desert Storm on a classified mountaintop in 3 feet of snow, walking around. We got probed a couple times, but luckily nothing was thrown over the fence. What else? So the body armor works. There's a reason it exists. Just understand that, but also understand it's going to slow you down greatly, and it's going to make movement harder. And if you do any kind of hand-to-hand while you're be protected from being shot or being knifed wherever the armor is, they can grab your armor and throw you around like a rag doll if they're big and strong enough. So if you haven't, and you have armor and you have a buddy who has armor, wrestle. See how hard it is on you. Alright? So, do your research on the armor. Do your research on the level 2, level 3, level 3A, and level 4 plates. And level 4 is the best. Been trying to get ready for war. The time is coming. It's getting closer. Alright, just look around at the news on YouTube. Look at what somebody did to Hezbollah and Lebanon. Supposedly more explosions happened today, right? So, one of the big killers in war is food, famine, lack of access to doctors and medicine and antibiotics. Jace Medical, I bought from them twice. Alright. So, this is a longer video. I wanted to be really about the show and tell and talk about armor, but let's stop, baby. Stop. Stop. My dogs are all excited in the middle of the fucking night. Anyway, pay attention to stuff. Pay attention to people who've been downrange. Alright? Hopefully some rednecks know what a technical is. They've looked it up and they started making it. So, information is knowledge and power. Live a little, prep a lot, share love. Cheap prepper. Out.